Welcome back to the Retro Craptacular Podcast, where each month we continue our search for the best bad movies on the planet Earth. I am your host, Aaron, and I am joined once again by Matt.
Oh, to hear it. To hear that spill out of your mouth.
I feel like it kind of flopped out a little bit this time.
Like a honeyed salmon.
It's been a minute since I've said it. Yeah, it's good to be back.
Indeed.
Sorry we took a little bit of an unofficial break there, but, you know.
Summer was hot.
Summer was so hot, we just didn't want to do it. No, just some life stuff came up that needed to be dealt with, and unfortunately the podcast was the thing that had to get pushed to the back burner. So
very unfortunate.
But it's all done and dealt with, and everything's great now. We're back. We're in it to win it.
And not only that, but we want to, make up for lost time.
Yeah.
In the long run, right?
Yeah. Totally.
Are we officially doing that? Are we
so
gonna
get ready for a 4-hour episode.
Oh, is that where? Ooh.
We're gonna list every single thing we watched in the last 2.5 months. No. Yeah, we're gonna try and get a year's worth of episodes out if we can, as close to as we can.
Yeah, that's the plan.
If possible. I mean, it's already kind of late in September, but we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
But so we've put Canon Palooza on hold.
Right.
We were gonna come back and watch one of the worst musicals ever.
Oh yeah.
We've mashed the pause button on that.
Mm-hmm.
We will return to it though, for sure.
That has to happen.
Has to happen. And we thought we got to do something special. We got to do something good. And we'll talk about what that is in a second. But we're doing a duology episode.
Ooh.
And we'll explain the details of that once we get into it. But
I don't know why I did the spooky ooh for that.
Well, because it's spooky time's coming up. Spooky season's upon us.
Spooktober.
It's October.
Almost.
Yeah.
I love October.
Blocktober, rock out with your cock out-tober.
That's what it is on my calendar.
Yeah.
I have a reminder on my phone.
Yeah, October 1st, pants off.
Gone,
done. What have you been viewing? There's a lot of things that have come out since we last spoke, and we can't talk about all of them because
it would take too long.
And it would be a 4-hour podcast.
Although interestingly, I did accidentally have a bit of a Christina Ricci marathon without thinking about
Aguilera,
it. No. I would though. But no,
wouldn't we all?
I watched it's spooky season, so I gotta start watching spooky movies. So I watched one of the spookiest of all time.
May.
Casper.
Oh yeah, okay.
And the girl in Casper is Christina Ricci, and I was like, why is she so familiar? And then I was like, oh wait, that's Wednesday Addams.
Oh, and then did you watch The Addams Family after that?
No.
Oh, okay.
And then I watched Yellow Jackets.
Oh. Wait, is that the one with the volleyball team or something?
Soccer
Soccer team? Yeah. Okay, I have not seen that yet, but it's great. Where did you watch it?
Crave.
Okay, I don't have Crave.
We could probably find a way to hook you up.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, and then all of a sudden I was like, why is this woman in this show so familiar? And I was like, oh, it's Wednesday Addams. It's just that first I watched Casper and then I watched this. There was a big time jump. That was fun.
Yeah. That's two things. It's not really I guess it's a show, so it's kind of a.
Oh, and then I watched Addams Family.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, well, now I have to. Yeah, but I mean the biggins that have come out. Is there any quick mentions you want to throw before we get into
mentions? I watched Prey, which is the Predator prequel.
Yeah, I gotta get on that.
Which is excellent. I really, really, really like it. And that did lead to rewatching some of the Predator movies because my partner and their wife had never seen any of them.
None.
So we did rewatch the original, and let me tell you.
Tell me.
The original, look, it's awesome.
Okay.
I'm not about to disparage this, so in case anyone's about to yell at their iPod.
I was about to.
It's an awesome movie. It is ugly. It is not. It is not a good looking movie.
Yeah.
It is not shot well.
Oh no.
I'd say there's about 4 good shots in the whole movie. The rest of it is very flat and boring.
Hmm.
And going from watching Prey, which we all loved, and is like very, very well shot. And it's modern.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah. The original Predator is pretty old.
it's from
at
the
this point.
80s, yeah, and so the new technology and stuff that's coming, like it's a very slick looking movie. And then we went back and watched the one from the 80s, and it was just kind of like, ugh. But
Yeah, some things don't age well, but you know what does? Casper. Highly recommend.
does it?
Oh, it's so fucking weird.
Okay,
Do you know how many people die in that movie?
a lot. I mean, they need ghosts,
I mean,
so
it's like 3, but that's 3 more than I expected to die.
in a kids movie.
Yeah.
But then they come back as a ghost,
Yes.
so it's like,
Well,
that's fine.
2 of them come back as a ghost, and then one of them is resurrected, and then one I don't think we ever see again.
Huh.
But it's messed up.
But is it played? Is it played as like,
It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not a big deal that they're dead because
Pretty-
they get to come back as a ghost.
Pretty much.
Okay.
One of them dies because they like drunkenly, like, fall into a construction pit, and like you see it coming a long ways away, and there's 3 other ghosts that are like, no, 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 but they're not actually doing anything, and then it just takes a really, really long time for them to die, and so it's like kind of meant to be funny, but I'm just sitting there being like, oh my gosh, that man just died.
Yeah. Yeah. Casper's weird because it's like he's a little boy.
Yeah.
He's a dead little boy.
He's a dead little boy.
Yeah.
And
He's a child
all he wants is a friend.
who died.
Yeah. Although he says all he wants is a friend, but he just really has a huge crush on Christina Ricci.
Oh,
He
yeah.
says he just wants a friend, but
He's hoping to get out of the friend
I
zone.
I think yeah. I don't think I know that. I watched the movie.
Yeah.
I know what he's about.
Stupid horny little boy.
Nice try, Casper.
Horny little dead boy.
Yeah.
That makes it extra weird.
It's an odd movie.
I definitely want to watch it now.
Okay, we should. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Is it on Disney Plus? Is that where
Yeah.
you saw it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Anyways, check out Prey. Once you watch Prey, we'll do a proper
Beauty.
review. Let me know if you watch it though, because then I'll make sure to rewatch it
Okay.
so it's fresh.
Yeah. Sounds good.
But
speaking of fresh.
yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Let's
I
start.
wasn't
Let's
sure
start
which
there.
one we were gonna do.
No, we'll start with Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Power.
Is a show. It is an expensive show that
It's
came out.
very expensive show.
We are 5 or 6 episodes in at the point of recording this.
5 comes out on Friday, I think.
Sure. I'm an episode behind,
Okay.
and here's why. This is what happened. Yesterday, I thought, I'm podcasting tomorrow. We're probably going to want to talk about Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably catch up. And then I started it, and I watched the recap to make sure I remembered all the things. And I was like, I did remember all the things. And then I remembered why I didn't care, and I stopped it, and I didn't watch the episode.
Oh, no.
Yep. I'm not really enjoying it that much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's not terrible. For sure, it's not terrible. For one, gorgeous.
Yeah.
So far, I've just thought, this is beautiful. I see where the money went.
Yeah.
But as far as plot, it's slow.
Meandering. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot going on, but also not.
Yeah.
I should feel a sense of urgency for the Southlands, and I don't. The Southlands is my favorite arc because shit's actually happening there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of like
names.
Galadriel wants to leave Numenor, and they're all like, we don't like having elves here, so we're gonna keep you around.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, but give me an army to go to the Southlands. And they're like, no, we're gonna send you back without an army. You just get out of here. And then she's like, well, you have the king in your dungeon. And he's like, I don't want to go. I don't want to be a king. I want to stay on the island and get drunk. And they're like, that's fine by us.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
That's a good summary, actually.
It's kind of how it goes. And she's like, we really need to go, though. We should go. And they're like, "Ah, no, no,
Yeah.
no." I will say, spoilers for episode 5, they do go at the end of it, or 4, or whatever. 5? Maybe it is 5.
Where they decide to send um the armies of Numenor
Well,
to
because
the Southlands.
probably the episode that you finished on ended with the leaves of the tree falling, right?
Yeah, and then the
And they're like,
conscription.
"Ooh, the leaves of the white tree do not idly fall. Clearly, the Valar are upset with us.
Yeah,
We
they
should
like
help."
have the line repeat that we
Yeah.
heard in a previous episode that I'm like, I remembered. Like, I saw the leaves falling and I was like, oh, I know what that's gonna mean. And then they spell that out for the audience anyway, and I was like,
Mm,
oh, I don't like it when they do that.
no, me neither.
Yeah, and then they're like, okay, who wants to go fight? And then that's when a sealed door is like, I will take it.
Yeah.
I will take myself to the battlefield. Yeah, that's the one I ended off on.
Yeah. So there's like a whole another episode after that where like they don't go right away. There's still a bunch of hanging out because there's a bunch of men and people in Numenor that don't want Numenor to go to Middle Earth, and they're like, we just want to hang out on our island.
I mean, it looks like a pretty chill
It
island.
does look like a pretty chill island. It's Greece. It's basically just Greece.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's filmed in Greece?
Probably. I think it's all New Zealand, but
I mean,
it's very clearly inspired by like a Greek island.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But it looks like they're going in episode whatever the next one is.
For sure.
Um
Probably happen.
I don't know. I'm intrigued by it. What I had to kind of remind myself of was that they're going to make 5 seasons of this show
Say what?
no matter what.
Is that you just predicting the future,
No.
or like
No,
you've
no, no.
heard
They
that?
have to.
Oh,
It was
that's
part
their
of
contract
It was part of their deal
to make 5 seasons.
when they bought it was they had to make at least 5 a certain number of episodes had to be produced, and it turned out to be like 5 seasons, and there was like a minimum amount of money they were allowed to spend per season.
Holy shit! Okay.
Yeah. The Tolkien estate was like, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it all, and
do
it's
it hard.
going to be big, and it's going to be expensive.
All right.
They didn't want janky Lord of the Rings TV show.
That's what I want. Well,
Yeah.
that's okay.
You want like the Adventures of
Yes.
Conan,
Yep.
but like 90s
You
TV
read,
show.
you read my mind. Yep.
That'd be amazing. That'd be so good. I would love that.
Yeah. So because I'm at the point with the show where like I'm interested enough to like see stuff go down. Like I want to see it because the action is probably going to be great, and the music's been pretty good too. I've
Mm-hmm.
been enjoying the music. I don't remember who.
Bear McCreary.
Bear McCreary.
Yeah.
That is a great name.
Yeah.
I don't recognize it though.
Everything.
Oh, I've
Uh,
seen some of that.
biggest one that comes to mind is Battlestar Galactica.
Oh shoot.
Yeah,
Okay.
the reboot, and
Yeah.
then he did a lot of JJ or no, not JJ Abrams. Crap, why can't I think of what he did the new Masters of the Universe show. That was him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. No, I was a fan of the Battlestar Galactica track for sure.
The main title like theme song is Howard Shore.
Is Howard
though.
Shore, yeah. I remember seeing that. If it is good and also just feels very Howard Shore.
Yeah, because I had heard that Bear McCreary was doing the music for it, so when the main title started, I'm like, oh, he's doing a really good Howard Shore right now. Like, this is impressive.
But
and then I saw the title that was like main theme by Howard Shore. I'm like, oh, that's why.
It tracks, yeah.
Yeah, because like there's some composers where like if you hear that you're like, that's John Williams.
Yep.
John Williams did that.
Yeah.
Because no one can fake it.
No.
No one's been able to fake the John Williams. I feel like Howard Shore is kind of one of those where it's like,
has a distinct style.
especially for Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Like,
It's very true.
You know, he's not repeating themes or leitmotifs or anything like that, but it's the same sauce, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Um anyways, no, so I'm enjoying it.
Good.
Like I said, I kind of remind myself like this is a 5-season show. I'm not going to get all the answers I want in, halfway through this season. Might not even get them by the end of this season, right?
Well, I'm
So I'm
sure there'll
going
be
like, who
unanswered
is this
questions.
guy? Is this guy Sauron? Who are these weird white people showing up to the place where the big tall wizard guy fell? Is that Gandalf? Is that Sauron? Is that one of the blue wizards? Is that Sauron?
Who knows?
Which one of these guys is Sauron? Is it Adar? It's probably Adar, but maybe not. What's with the dagger that the kid stabs into his arm?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Who's he gonna be? Is he gonna be the Witch King? Is that the Witch King?
I hope so.
Yeah. So, they're introducing characters like Celebrimbor,
Right.
who's the one that Sauron tricks into making the rings of power. So I'm like, okay, like obviously stuff is going to happen over multiple seasons, and I need to just like wait for it to be
Okay.
explained. I'm like, they're
It
not
is. So
gonna.
it's going to be a slow burn, and you are
I think so.
settling in.
Yeah, because there was part of me that was like, when are they gonna find out if it's Gandalf or not? And then one of the episodes, the Harfoots and all that, they weren't even in it. And I'm like, well, what the heck? Why are you wasting time? You only got 8 episodes in the season. I gotta find out if it's Gandalf. I think it's Sauron, but you know,
I guess yeah. For me, it was just like I know that there's a lot of stuff going on there, a lot of setting it up and everything, but the the tension was really lost
mm-hmm.
for me. And then like sometimes there would be a bit of tension, and then it either wouldn't matter or would be resolved right away. Like Elrond and Durin,
They're the best part of the show.
they're great, but like they were like at odds, and then but then it was fine, and they weren't. But then they were like, oh, but he's keeping secrets. So I'm gonna go confront him, and then he finds the secret mine, and it's like, do you trust me? And yep. And okay, this is what's going on. Okay, I trust you. Cool, I trust you too. Here's some mithril for you to keep, even though it's like super secret.
But
Um, eh,
even more stuff happens with that in the next episode.
oh, cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I figured. So yeah, I don't know. It just again, meandering is the right word. Where
yeah,
I'm just like, should I care at
yes,
this
I
point?
think so.
Hmm.
We're gonna get a Balrog at some point.
Cool.
They've shown that.
Oh, have they?
No, I don't know. I'm along for the ride. If Because I think this season's gonna end with a thing. It's gonna be a big thing. You know,
Yeah. I mean,
it's either gonna be
yeah.
this is who Sauron is, or this is who the stranger is. It's Saruman or it's Gandalf or whatever
I
or
just assumed it
something.
was neither of them. Like,
Oh yeah,
I just assumed it was some other angel being. I don't remember what they're
the
called.
Istari.
That sounds about right.
I think that's could be like Saruman, like the predecessor to Saruman.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, it wouldn't make sense for it to be Gandalf, because why would Gandalf show up before Saruman? And no one's talked about wizards, yet.
Yeah.
I feel like if, Morgoth is making a comeback or something, someone would be like, we should go find the wizards, eh? Probably should talk to the wizards. The fact that no one's mentioning wizards makes me feel like there are no wizards yet. So,
That seems to be
like, if
the
if
thought.
it's one of the wizards we know about, I feel like it's Saruman, but it could also be a different wizard that they just made up.
Time will
Because they're
tell.
also making up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Because apparently they don't actually own the rights to the Silmarillion or any of the like apocryphal texts.
Yeah, I've heard
They
that.
only own the rights to The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So everything they're doing, they bought the rights and they're like, what do you want to do? And they're like, not Lord of the Rings. We want to do a prequel. Like, well, we didn't buy the rights to that. It's like, we'll make it up. So anything that they're doing is something that's either has to be explained within the texts of those 4 books or in the appendices at the end of Return of the King. And thankfully, there's a chunky appendices at the end of Return of the King.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm interested to see where it goes, and then we'll check back in,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
see how it's tasting.
Yeah. That's good. The other big thing that happened was there was a Star Wars that happened
Mm-hmm.
that seems to have dropped with little to no fanfare.
I definitely didn't know it came out until yesterday or the day before, and it
Mm,
had been out almost a week.
yeah.
um, yeah, even like I was like, oh shoot, that came out, and then I opened up Disney Plus, and the first thing that's highlighted in their spotlight wasn't
It was
Andor.
the Kardashians, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I was like, "What? Get out of here! I want me some
Yeah.
super hot. What's his face? I forgot his name. Shoot, I've been really bad with names
Diego
today.
Luna?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I find him very attractive personally.
Yeah. He's a good looking dude. Star Wars has got a what's the word I'm looking for?
Hard on.
Hard on. Kinda. They like hiring like daddy types.
I see.
Oscar Isaac,
And
Pedro Pascal,
Pedro Pascal. Yeah.
Ewan
Okay.
McGregor.
Speaking of Pedro Pascal, I saw a trailer for The Last of Us that HBO is doing.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's hot.
That's gonna be good.
I'm excited. I haven't even played the games. I want to,
Games are very good.
but I even just
I'm
seeing that trailer, I was
playing
like,
through the
I'm
first
into it.
one right
Oh,
now.
okay, sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wank. But yeah, Andor. 4 episodes out. One just dropped today.
Yeah, I haven't seen the one that came out today.
Cool. But yeah, how is that sitting with you? How is this new show for Star Wars? Because we've talked a lot about both MCU and Star Wars,
Yeah,
and I think we both have a lot of MCU fatigue at this point.
a ton.
And Star Wars, there has been a lot of. I think last time
Yeah.
we talked about Star Wars, we were just dunking on the Book of Boba Fett.
Well, we would have talked about Obi-Wan.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And I think at the time I really, really liked Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
Upon sitting with Obi-Wan for a little bit more and going back to it again, I kind of feel like it was maybe rushed.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Um,
I ultimately did really enjoy it.
I did as well, and it was just good to see him back playing the character.
Yeah.
But I feel like 6 episodes wasn't enough. You could have done 8 or 10.
Yeah.
And it would have been, a lot.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have a bit of a slower progression in
Yeah,
some things,
let the
especially
characters
like
breathe.
yeah, yeah.
Let the characters develop on their own because like the worst part for me was the scene in the second to last episode where Obi-Wan realizes who Reva actually is.
Mm-hmm.
And there's basically just like a little like 5-minute exposition dump scene where he's like, "Oh, you were a youngling and you're here to get revenge on Darth Vader, and that's what this whole thing has been about." And I'm like, I would wish I had learned that by not having someone just tell it to me.
Yeah.
Because that's a very important character reveal moment, and just spilling it out in dialogue like that is bad.
It did seem like they felt like they didn't have time or
Yeah.
something to flesh that out better.
And so I'm like, just 2 more episodes would be so much nicer to just kind of give it some time to play out a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
on the topic of Andor, so that leads into Andor
Yeah, well,
with
what kind of expectations did that leave you with?
well, because I know Andor is a 12 episode season,
Mm.
to which I'm like, okay, you're giving twice as much time. Whereas this was a 6 or 8 episode season, those first 3 episodes probably would have been one episode.
Yeah, definitely.
That was like,
Those 3 episodes were setting up the show.
25 to 35 minutes long.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was about an hour and a half worth of content, maybe a little bit longer even,
Yeah, it might have been.
really kind of lets you get into the character and the world, and it's nice to have that
Yeah.
time to just sort of develop along with the character, because I think the thing that I always heard when they announced this show was like, why are they doing that character from Rogue One? Like, who wants that? He's like a nothing character. Like, why the fuck does he get his own show? Like, that's stupid. And I'm always like, well, okay, if you're not happy with the character development in the movie Rogue One, then maybe you should be happy that
You're getting
you're
the character development.
you're gonna get the character development. Like,
Yeah.
one of the biggest complaints I heard about Rogue One was that, like, he talks about how he does, he's done horrible things, and it's like, well, you don't really see that in the movie. You see him shoot one guy in the back,
Yeah.
and and to me, I'm like, well, that's enough.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. You don't want to have your hero doing a whole bunch of horrible, horrible things all the time, because then he's just not likable.
Yeah.
But also he's the guy that they send to assassinate
Mm-hmm.
the Death Star architect. So, like, that also kind of just tells you that, like,
Yeah. I
this
mean,
is-
for me, there was enough
yeah,
of that.
if you actually think about it for more than 10 seconds,
Yes.
there's enough.
Very good point.
But so I'm really curious about where they're going to go with this, and I like that they've hired a guy who's not a fan of Star Wars.
Not a fan of Star Wars. Is
Yeah.
that the case?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Um
I did not
the
know.
guy that they hired is the guy that they brought in to do the rewrite on Rogue One. And I can't remember his name
Oh.
now off the top of my head. And I don't have my phone on me to look it up. But
Is it bothering you now? Do we need to look
it's
it up?
really bothering me.
There's a computer right here.
Can you just look it up? You just find out who the
Stephen Schiff.
Nope.
Okay. I just read the first name that I could find.
Tony Gilroy. Thank
Tony
you.
Gilroy.
Of the
Gilroy.
Gilroy.
Gilroy. Gilroy.
Yeah. Totally. Mr. Roboto himself. Tony Gilroy. His brother's Dan Gilroy, who directed Nightcrawler. Anyways,
Not a fan of Star Wars.
not a fan of Star Wars in the way that he's like, yeah, like, I saw them and they're fine. But, like, he's like, I don't care.
Nice.
It's like, I don't care about, like, people are going to ask me, like, oh, is this character related to this character? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about who's related to what, or, like, whether or not this blaster belonged to so-and-so from the other movie, whatever. I don't give a shit. I just want to make a good show.
Yeah. That's something,
I want to tell a good story.
that I've been really enjoying. And it's something that we've talked about before, how we just want an interesting show set in the universe of Star Wars
Yeah.
that, like, this is the one where I'm crossing my fingers. I'm like, maybe this is the one where they just never show a lightsaber. Like,
Yeah.
maybe this will finally be the Star Wars show where they don't resort to lightsaber.
Maybe, yeah.
And yeah, so far it's like it's felt in the universe for sure.
Yeah, but
it has not had any fan service.
No,
that I can think of.
it stands up on its own merit.
Mhm.
You know, it holds up under its own weight, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Which is really nice to just be like, all right, you're gonna tell a story about a character who we've seen before in another movie, and, like, we know the role that he plays, but this is just like, it's not. It doesn't feel like it's shoving Star Wars down our throats.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think of, like, aside from, like, maybe some Y-wings in the background in, like, a scrapyard or something. There's, like, almost nothing
Yeah.
like, you don't see a stormtrooper. You don't see, there's not, like, it's R2-D2, but he's green. Like, there's nothing. I'm almost like, you could have maybe done a little bit more.
No, I'm totally fine with the none that they've been
Could
going
have
with.
put, like, one of the moisture evaporator set pieces in there or something. Like,
No,
just like a touch.
Yeah,
But
I think it's fine.
yeah, like you could show this to someone who has never seen any Star Wars, and
Yeah, that's true.
they probably wouldn't know it was Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Because like you show the Mandalorian to someone who's never seen Star Wars, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, is that Boba Fett guy that's on my Doritos bag?"
Yeah.
You know, or like, is that? Oh, that's one of them storm shooters guys. It's like, yeah, that's a
That's
storm. It's
correct.
a storm shooter
It's a
guy. Good job.
sharpshooter.
Good job.
Thanks, Billy.
But this is like, it could almost be anything,
Yeah, which is kind of exciting.
which is fine. I mean, yeah, I mean, look, we're gonna get more Star Warsy shit in it later, I'm sure. You know, we'll we'll
Probably.
we'll get stormtroopers at some point. We'll get, you know, the Imperial shuttle or a TIE fighter or two, or maybe some X-wings or something. You're gonna get the Star Wars
Yeah,
stuff.
but I'm hoping it continues to just feel in universe rather
Yeah,
than ooh look. You know.
yeah, because like I think that was one of the things that we sort of praised Mandalorian season 1 for, was it was like, yeah, okay, like your main character just looks kind of like Boba Fett, but like aside from that,
It's a unique character
it's a
with a
unique
unique story.
character and there's kind of its own thing going on, and like, yeah, some stormtroopers show up and you see them, roasting fucking Salacious B. Crumb over a fire
Oh
in the
yeah,
market, right?
yeah,
And you got the blurgs
yeah,
from the Ewok movies, and there's like an Ugnaught there, and it's like, okay, there's Star Wars things in it, but it's its own character and it's its own thing. And then season 2 of The Mandalorian was like, look at that.
yeah.
It's the thing. It's Boba Fett's armor.
Mhm,
There's X-wings chasing him now.
mhm.
I mean, I guess Grogu is in season 1 is like the big like, no, it's the thing you like, you know?
Yes, that is true.
It's the thing you like, but it's cute now.
It was very cute.
It's like that, and then like the dark saber is maybe the only like Easter egg kind of thing. It shows up in like the very last shot.
That's right. I do remember that.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Yeah, but then season 2, it's like, here's Boba Fett's armor. Here's actual fucking Boba Fett. Here's Ahsoka Tano. Here's an X-wing. Here's Luke fucking Skywalker
Yeah, we don't need to talk about
showing up
that.
to just completely sideline your protagonists
Mm-hmm.
and derail the thing. Oh, it's R2D2. I clapped. I clapped when I saw
Yay.
R2D2. Um, and so, yeah,
Yeah. And or very, very different.
yeah. Kenobi, I didn't feel that. Like they forced stuff into it.
That's true. No, like it was, like one could argue that it was fan servicey, but really it was like the amount of stuff that you like that they included was kind of like you knew you were signing up for that. It was
Yeah.
it was
Like,
the characters that felt like they needed to be involved.
yeah. Like, even including Darth Vader, I don't feel like was 100% fan service.
No,
Like,
very important part of
yeah.
Obi-Wan's story.
Yeah. And I feel like there is a way to tell an Obi-Wan story without using Darth Vader.
Sure.
But I didn't feel as like jaded about it as I thought I was going to.
Mm.
Because I definitely was expecting, when I found out, like, oh yeah, Darth Vader is going to be in Obi-Wan, I was like, no, they can't meet. Like, they're not supposed to know about each other.
Mm.
Or like Obi-Wan's supposed to find out at some point, but like they can't see each other until A New Hope.
Hmm.
Because what he says to him is, when I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. It's like, that kind of doesn't play if they've met in between. Like,
I mean, sure, but also that's not like, there's some wiggle room in that statement.
I guess so, but especially when he like fucking beats the shit out of him in their first encounter.
That was
Like
delicious, honestly.
that's no learn. I mean, I guess Obi-Wan comes back and kicks the shit out of him later, so he's like, maybe that's Vader being like, all right, I gotta do some fucking push-ups or something, because like,
Gotta up my reps.
yeah. He's like, okay, all right, I got a little cocky. Obi-Wan's still the OG. Um, yeah. So I think it's too soon for me to say like, yes, Andor is the best of new Star Wars, but I think it is in the running.
That's totally fair. I went in with like some hopes, and now I have high hopes from what I've
Yeah.
seen so far. I'm also really enjoying the acting.
Mm-hmm. It's
Diego
good.
Luna is great. Stellan Skarsgård
Yeah.
is always the same level of good in everything I've seen him in.
Yeah.
Almost.
I love that he refuses to. I love that he refuses to pronounce the name of the show properly.
Oh yeah.
He's like Cassian Andor.
Ander. I'm also
Good shit.
I'm really interested in the music so far for Ander.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been very interesting. I like they have a theme. They have an Andor theme, but it's been presented differently so far at the beginning of each episode.
Fascinating. I had not picked up on that.
No?
No.
Yeah, when they do the slow like, crescent moon thing
Yeah.
turning into the rebel and then the words Andor come up. Yeah, it's the from what I remember at least, it is the same theme, but it's like tone and instrumentation changes to match each episode.
Huh. Crazy.
Yeah.
The other great thing about this show is that apparently it includes. Oh, excuse me. It includes 0 volume work.
Volume work.
Like the volume is like the big LED stage that they filmed like
Oh, for the
Mandalorian and
Mandalorian.
Obi-Wan on.
Oh, they didn't do anything in there.
No, I don't think so. Maybe for like ship cockpit stuff.
Mm.
Like going to hyperspace and that kind of stuff, and like that shot where Stellan Skarsgård comes in on the planet sideways, and then the ship starts to rotate, but you just see the planet
Yeah.
like rotating in the way. I was like, that's so fucking cool because that's how space works.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all practical, shot on location, and I guess probably some green screen stuff here and there, but
Yeah, inevitably, but
yeah,
yeah, it's been
they
lovely.
built sets, and I'm like, this looks fucking good.
Yeah, it shows.
It's blowing my mind that this is the one that they like went ham on a little bit, right? Like you think
Yeah.
like, I mean, because Jon Favreau, I'm sure pushed for doing Mandalorian on the volume the way they did with the LED screens, because he's all about like, I want to push like the virtual production technology
Mhm.
forward, and like he's interested in that. Tony Gilroy doesn't seem fucking interested in that at all.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that was him being like, I'm not shooting it in front of a TV. Fuck you. We're gonna go build set. We're making film here. We're gonna build a set.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they were just like, all right, fuck it, sure, because they announced the shows around the same time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Mandalorian was the first one announced, and then this one was the second one announced.
Oh.
Obi-Wan was announced later. Book of Boba Fett was never announced.
Right.
So like 2 different series have been shot and released in between Mandalorian and Andor.
Right.
And maybe that's because it took so fucking long, because they
Build stuff.
built stuff and they did 12 episodes instead of 6
Right,
or 8
yeah.
or whatever. So maybe that has a bit to do with it. But
Yeah, but I just hope that it like continues to be really good, and then also hope that it is well received
yes,
by the audience, whatever that even looks like nowadays, so that the company knows, like, oh hey, this is what's
yeah,
good.
yeah. Well, okay, I think they already have general idea. They must be happy because they have signed Tony Gilroy to a first look deal to develop future Star Wars TV and film projects.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Now,
Will
they've
they?
hired a fuck ton of people to make
Yes.
Star Wars shit that
Yeah.
we've never seen.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Is it? Didn't they officially can the Rogue Squadron movie?
No official announcement, but it's no longer listed on their slate.
That's what it was.
It was supposed to come out December 2023, and like they would have needed to been shooting already,
Oh,
and like we
definitely.
would have heard casting announcements and
Yeah.
all this kind of stuff, and none of that has taken place. But like Taika Waititi apparently is writing one
Oh, okay.
and is gonna direct one, but you know, even he is like, yeah, I'm just so fucking busy and so fucking tired, and I just don't have time. I'm not really working on it.
Hmm.
And then they announced an entire trilogy of Ryan Johnson, uh,
Oh, yeah.
written slash directing one or all of them.
Yeah.
It was unclear how many he was going to do, but he was going to oversee an entire trilogy. But now he's just making murder mysteries for Netflix for $500 million or something
Yeah.
stupid like
I'm
that.
excited for that.
Apparently, it's great.
I
It got
believe it.
phenomenal reviews out of Toronto.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I'm hoping I can see it in a theater.
Hmm.
Um,
I hate theaters though.
I don't.
That's good.
I love them.
That's good. You should go.
Yeah.
Too many youths, in theaters. So many youths.
I've had surprisingly good experiences in movie theaters recently.
Oh, that's good.
And by that, I just mean like they haven't been awful.
Right. Great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Like remember I went to see like a late show of like the 40th anniversary re-release of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Ooh, that's cool.
And there was just like a group of like young teenagers, like 13, 14, like sitting in the back row. It's being so loud. Like every time someone would turn around to like shush them, they would like back at that. And I'm like, why the fuck are you here? Like,
Yeah,
why
that's the
are you
part that
watching a 40-year-old movie at 10:30 at night? Like what?
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't make sense. Like they're just there like as something to do and they don't actually care
I
about the
guess.
experience.
I
I
guess.
see so many youths just like go to a movie and then they're just like chatting with their friends and then they'll like get up and leave.
Yeah,
Most of the time to smoke, and I'll know that because they come back smelling like smoke.
that makes sense.
But like,
You used to just
what do you
smoke cigarettes in the theater.
They didn't.
No, they didn't.
But like, you just made a money or something? You gonna spend $20 something to come sit here and not do what you paid
Yeah.
$20 something to do?
I will say going to the VIP helps a lot
That's true.
because it's 19 plus.
Yeah.
That helps a lot. But even going to the regular theater, yeah,
Hmm.
it's been good for me recently. So I don't know. Maybe youths don't care about going to the movies anymore. Unless it's Minions and they get to put on a suit.
Right. That's weird.
That was a weird thing that happened.
Yeah. It's strange.
Yeah, you know what else is strange? The way Stellan Skarsgård pronounces Andor. Or stars in 2 different Exorcist movies at the same time.
Indeed. Wait, he's in both of them?
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Okay.
He's like, it's like him and his like translator guy, I think, are the only 2 cast members that are the same
Oh, weird.
between. But we watched The Exorcist: The Beginning.
Father Merrin. How do you know my name?
I was sent here to search for the origin of a powerful evil.
This place, it's cursed.
You ever seen anything like it?
It's a church.
Churches were built to exalt heaven. But this, the weapons are pointing downward. This is the spot where Lucifer fell.
It's an ancient temple where they used to conduct human sacrifices.
There is something here, something evil.
Who would do something like this?
He's coming for you.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent segue by that.
As it's known, as it should be called, Exorcist: When Animals Attack. Because that's kind of the main component of the whole film.
Yeah, it's hard to like even Cause yeah, like it's The Exorcist. I was expecting like 90% demon possession shit and like 10% animals. And that's not the ratio I got.
No.
I mean, like there is, at the end of the movie is mostly demon stuff.
Yeah,
But
but
even then, I'd put it
there's
like maybe
fucking creepy butterflies.
yeah, I would still, was it like maybe 40, 60? 40 being the demon stuff and
Yeah.
60 being hyenas?
Look. There's a lot of hyenas in this movie.
A lot of hyenas.
And a lot of crows.
Yes, a lot of crows. And that's like fair. That's on brand. Crows eating recently killed people through ritual sacrifice. That's straight up the genre's alley.
Yeah, and I mean, they're in Africa. Hyenas are also scavengers, so I guess that kind of also tracks. But like,
But also,
the amount of like hyenas just showing up to creep people out at creepy times.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's the scene where a hyena like runs in the background where we can see it, but the character can't.
Yeah.
And then it never appears again, and then the character wakes up because they were having a dream. And I'm like, why did you show us that hyena in her dream that she didn't see and it never came into play?
Who knows?
So-
I bet you they can't even tell you.
Yeah,
I bet
no.
if you pulled up Renny Harlin, you're like, why was that hyena in her dream in the
I'm
background?
getting my phone right now.
And you call him Renny.
Renny, hold on a sec. Siri. My phone's very old. It'll take a sec. Oh, Siri, can you call Renny? I need to talk about hyenas. Did you get all that? Siri, I think my phone's too old. It's like 12 years old at this point.
Yeah, hello, this is Renny.
Oh, hey Renny. So I saw The Exorcist, the one with all the hyenas, and I wanted to know about the hyenas.
Oh, yeah, okay, well, see, the hyena is very scary creature with the eyes that glow in the dark, it's fantastic,
Okay, but
it's
that's
beautiful.
That's every animal. Like it could have been raccoons.
No, they don't have raccoons in Africa. See, you have to go with the creature that is there in the place where the movie is set, so we picked the hyena because they like to eat the babies and the children. It's terrifying. It's beautiful stuff. Very, very good.
Okay, but then when all the hyenas show up at one point near the end, why do they sound like moose?
You'd have to call the sound designer. I don't know. I just direct the movie, and I think I did a decent job with making the hyenas very scary.
Okay. Thanks, Renny.
I'm from Finland. Okay, goodbye.
They did sound like moose, though. It was
Did
there was like animal noises, and I'm like, that sounds like a moose or a caribou, which is very similar. And then all the
Yeah.
hyenas showed up, and I was like, oh, is that what I was supposed to have been hearing this whole time?
No, he's about to get gored by a reindeer.
Honestly, it wouldn't have been that shocking at that point in the movie. This is late on in the movie. Anyway, what is this movie about, Aaron?
What
Can
is
you
this
please
movie
tell
about?
me what this movie is about.
Well,
I
it's-
don't know.
It's the beginning of The Exorcist.
Okay, and
Okay, so Matt, let me
So-
take you back in time.
Renny, please.
I don't want to get stuck in a character. Sometimes that happens.
You don't want to go home and just not know who you are anymore.
Yeah, it's like come home to my girlfriend, like, "Hello, darling. How are you? I'm Finnish film director Renny Harlin. I made Cliffhanger, or as they call it in France, Cliffhanger.
That will confuse them greatly.
Yeah, Cliffhanger. Yeah, sound like a punk musician. So, Father Merrin is
Father
the
Merrin.
titular exorcist from the first film, The Exorcist.
Right.
And in the beginning of that movie, you've never seen it, correct?
I don't believe so.
Okay. It's played by Max von Sydow.
Wait, is that the one where someone keeps waking up at 3 a.m.?
No, that's The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Gotcha.
Also a very good film. But no, this is from the 70s.
Wait, what about Max von Sydow?
Max von Sydow plays Father Merrin, the character that Stellan Skarsgård plays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, fun fact, Max von Sydow, I think, was younger when he played Father Merrin in the 70s, but he wore old age makeup. So he's actually younger than Stellan Skarsgård is in this movie, but
Oh.
Stellan Skarsgård is playing the younger version of the character. Anyways, that's just a weird fact that I know.
Huh. Fun times.
So he's still doing his archaeology thing, but he's also a priest. And
Yeah.
he's doing a dig in northern Iraq, and he unearths the Saint Joseph's medallion and the Pazuzu head,
Both of which appeared in this movie.
both of which appeared in this movie. So I
Okay.
think we're sort of led to believe after watching this movie that he's been looking for that church again ever since.
But like somewhere else?
But they don't have GPS.
Right.
So he just can't find it because it gets buried by the sand at the end, right?
Right. Most of the end of the movie is a sandstorm.
Yeah. So I don't know how we're supposed to. Maybe it's not the same relic. It's just a coincidence that a Saint Joseph's medallion and a Pazuzu relic carving end up in a different dig site in northern Iraq.
Maybe it will become more clear when we watch the other version.
The
of
other
this
version.
movie.
So we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah. But yeah, exorcism.
and then
Plague of hyenas.
Yeah, so that before he leaves Iraq, he also encounters as he's leaving the dig site, he comes across a giant statue of Pazuzu, like the one that he found in the church,
With the snake penis.
with the snake penis and everything. And then that's the demon that possesses the little girl in The Exorcist, and they have to do the exorcism
Of course.
on her. So this movie tells the prequel tale of that, where
He's just an archaeologist.
He was a priest, and then he left the church and joined the archaeology department of Britain. I don't know. Maybe not.
I mean,
Just
he was a priest
in the Netherlands. Supposed to be the Netherlands. I don't know if it ever actually says that, but
I don't think it did.
but he's Dutch. The character's Dutch, so
Yeah.
it would make sense. Yeah. So, anyways, he gets invited on an archaeological dig by the British, I guess.
Yes.
Because the British love going places where they don't belong and taking stuff that they don't own.
Historically.
Yeah, it's like their number one favorite thing to do. That and shut down the world for an entire weekend so that we can watch them bury an old lady.
That did happen since last week.
Yeah.
Podcast.
R.I.P. Mom. Anyways, so not my mom, but they call her. It's a thing. It's the thing that the Brits do. So there's the fifth.
I'm with you, Gav.
It's like from 500 AD or something. There's a Byzantine era church in this part of Africa where there couldn't have been a Christian church.
Oh yeah, the movie actually starts with a scene of like a priest and he's like stumbling about.
Oh yeah.
And then eventually we see the scene around him and it's just like so many dead bodies.
Well, he takes the Pazuzu
Oh yeah.
head carving from another dead soldier, and it looks like it's the Crusades or something.
Yeah, it looked very crusade-y.
Yeah. And then you zoom out and there's just tons of dead bodies, and you keep zooming out and there's just like hundreds of people crucified upside down.
Yeah.
And then the crows caw really loud and fly into the screen. And
very real crows.
Exorcist. Yeah, that's the other thing. Almost all of the animals in this are not good CGI.
Animals and insects.
And some of the backgrounds. Two in particular we're going to talk about.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, there's this church here, and they're like, there shouldn't be a church here.
Yeah.
Let's get this archaeologist.
Yeah, and so, he's got a little bit of expertise because he was a priest, and now he's an archaeologist, so he knows a lot about church shit, and he knows about, ancient stuff and Catholic whatnot. And so
don't get too technical.
He went to St. Matthew's Academy of Catholic whatnot. And so he shows up and there, he's accompanied by another priest from the Vatican who's American but played by a Brit, and
right,
who knows why. They go down into the dig site, and he go down into they've unearthed the dome of the church, and so they drop down on a very rickety rope ladder, and there's all these paintings of Lucifer and like depicting the war in heaven, and all the statues have like their spears and weapons and stuff pointing downward, whereas like they should be pointing upwards towards heaven because they're like meant to be exalting heaven. And then you see that the cross, the crucifix, has been broken off and hung upside down.
It's like hanging from a chain, swinging in the non-existent breeze
over top of an altar. And they're like, that's fucking weird.
That's
is
a red flag.
Like that, yeah. There's your problem.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, this has been vandalized. Like, who else has been down here? And like, just the like first archaeologist team who uncovered it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I want to talk to the guy in charge. And they're like, well, you can't. He's like, why not? He's like, because he's gone mad.
Yeah. Then he goes to talk to the guy who went mad.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a madhouse, one could say.
You could.
He's drawn pictures.
A lot of pictures.
A lot of pictures of a church.
Which is interesting because he only takes one.
Yeah.
And it doesn't...
And it's the one that he needs.
Yeah, but like...
Does he only take one, or does he...
I only remember him holding one. He like has a room full of drawings.
I thought he maybe had like a handful, and he like ruffles through them at one point and is like, this is the church,
Oh, maybe.
Thing. Maybe, I don't know.
I was paying that close attention.
Yeah.
Really.
Anyways, crazy guy says, God's not here today, priest, and then cuts his own throat and dies.
Right. Which is a quote that a Nazi soldier said to our protagonist.
Yeah.
Back when he was a priest and the Nazis came and,
yeah,
the Holocaust.
So we learn that the reason he left the church is because the Nazis came to his village in the Netherlands and made him choose 10 people to be executed.
Otherwise, everyone would.
Everyone's going to be executed. And he kind of went like, no, like, kill me, shoot me. And Nazis are like, just like straight up shoot a little girl in the head. And he's like, I'm going to kill everyone unless you pick 10 people. And so then they force him to pick 10 people to shoot. And then he's like, obviously, God is not cool if he lets that happen. And so I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
That's kind of his backstory.
Pretty fucking brutal.
But you know what? Good backstory, good reason.
Yeah, very strong character motivation there.
Yeah. So
this crazy archaeologist quotes the words of that Nazi at him, and has carved a swastika into his chest with a piece of broken glass.
Oh right, yeah, I forgot about that.
And then after saying that, just cuts his own throat.
Yeah, and dies.
Yep, pretty quick.
Yeah, so
it was weird,
Yeah.
As like a first visit, it's a strange thing to do.
Mm-hmm. So there's a couple little boys in the village, and one night one of them, while they're trying to draw water from the well, one of them gets attacked by a pack of hyenas and just absolutely fucking gets eaten alive.
Wrecked, and then
he gets torn apart.
They eventually start shooting at the hyenas, and the hyenas just kind of like, as they're tearing him apart, drag him away.
Yeah.
Despite getting shot.
Yeah. I think they shoot like one of them, and then the rest of the hyenas are like, fuck this. And then,
but I'm taking my snack.
Yeah, we're taking our food to go. And then they
fuck
off. And then the little boy faints. The other little boy, his brother, passes out and kind of goes catatonic, and he's like out of it for most of the film. And you're supposed to think like, oh, okay, clearly he's been possessed by a demon. And
demon lord of the hyenas.
Yeah. So his family is Christian, but they are descended or related to the local tribe.
Yeah.
That are there, and that are it's in their territory, it's on their land that this church has been found, and a lot of them are working as laborers to dig
Yeah.
out the church, but they refuse to go in it because they're like, this place is cursed. Like, we don't want to go in there. And Father Merrin does some more investigation. He finds out that like underneath the altar, there's a staircase that goes down even further, and there's what he calls a pagan temple.
Yeah.
Down there, which I don't think that's accurate, but I guess the church would consider anything non-Christian to be pagan.
Yes.
Even though it's clearly like they're worshiping a demon.
Yeah, I mean, he does clarify with that statement that it was for sacrifices, human sacrifices.
Yeah. And you know, pagan was just kind of like a blanket term that I think the early church used to talk about any sort of belief system that wasn't
That's my understanding of it too, yeah.
Christian and didn't have like a, like, I don't know, would they have called like Hinduism a pagan religion?
Probably.
Would they have?
Yeah, why wouldn't they? They
I don't
said
know.
they sucked.
Well, maybe. I don't know, because I think of like, I think what we think of as like paganism now is like, you know, Wiccan, Druidic,
Oh, yeah.
those kind of,
Forces of nature, spirits of the
yeah,
elements and stuff like that.
yeah,
That's true. That
like
is
the Wicker Man.
like the Wicker Basket Man.
Yeah. You know, they're like, yeah, reading chicken bones and drawing runes and casting spells and stuff
Yeah. But yeah.
on you know, Samhain and the solstices and all that kind of stuff, and like with the moon, and
It was just Maban recently.
I don't know what that is.
It's like the solstice, pagan solstice holiday.
Which one?
No, sorry, not solstice, like the equinox.
Equinox. Oh yeah.
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 Fun fact.
That's what
What
I
were we
think of
talking
as
about?
that's what I think of as pagan. But
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah.
maybe they would have called like, yeah, I don't know.
It's possible.
Because I don't know that like, whatever, it's not important. So there's a temple down there, and there's a Pazuzu statue down there.
Yep.
Like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yo, it's so crazy. There's Pazuzu down there.
Yeah, but the chieftain's wife gives birth to a stillborn baby.
And it's
What?
covered in maggots.
It's covered in maggots, and this is all happening while he's unearthing the temple. And he comes up and he's like, his interpreter comes to him and he's like, the chieftain's wife's baby was stillborn. They're blaming the whites. They think this place is cursed. They think it was brought here by the white people. They're not happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Shit's going down. And oh no, sorry, it's not the translator. It's the priest. He's like, I've called in the army.
That's right.
And Father Merrin's like, the fuck you did that for? and he's like, oh, you don't agree? He's like, I think involving soldiers in anything is a bad idea.
Yep.
So, needless to say, soldiers show up. And when they show up, before they show up, the tribe break into the hospital and attempt to perform a ritual to cleanse the boy.
Oh, that's
they believe
right.
has been possessed by a spirit. So they do their sort of version of an exorcism, and it involves leeches and
They're very creepy.
rattles and
Leeches
chanting.
freak me out.
Yeah.
The rattles and chanting I'm okay with, but leeches, that freaks me out.
And they're interrupted by the doctor, who we haven't really talked about yet.
Oh yeah, she's a key character, even though
Yes.
she hasn't come up yet in us trying to
Yes
discuss
and
the
no.
plot?
Yeah, so but she doesn't play like a key character for a lot of the movie. Is kind of the problem. Like, she's there and she's like a character that like Father Merrin talks to, and like found out that she was put in a concentration camp as well, like during the war. And so she has been caring for the boy Joseph that's been catatonic the entire time, and they're performing the ritual to try and cleanse him, and she comes in and interrupts him, and one of the warriors like grabs her and like holds a knife to her throat, and he's like, no, let them finish. And she starts screaming, and then like the lights are flickering and the windows are blowing open and glass is shattering and the bed's rattling up and down and moving back and forth and all kinds of crazy shit's going on.
And then one of them tries to like hold down the boy's arm, and all of their fingers just snap backwards.
Yeah, and like the guy holding like it's unclear whether or not they're gonna kill the boy or not. Like one of them's holding a big like machete knife thing that looked like in a downward stabbing motion. Looks like he might stab him, but he never gets around to it.
Going down real slow.
Yeah. He does use it to like cut the boy's shirt off at one point, and then they put the leeches on his chest. Anyways, his arm breaks. The guy who's got the knife to her throat, his leg breaks. And so they're like, let's get the fuck out of here. They all leave.
Yeah.
And that's when Father Merrin shows up and he's like, yo, I found the sacrifice temple underneath the church. The fuck's going on? And then the next day he sees them doing a cremation of the baby that was stillborn. And he's like, you don't bury your dead, you cremate them. And he's like, oh my God. On the way in, there was like a bunch of graves.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We missed this. Empty. Yeah. Bunch of graves with crosses on them. And it said that there was a plague.
Yeah. The village that used to be here, everyone died.
And he's like, well, if everyone died, who buried them? And it's like, okay, obviously they didn't all die at the same time. Like, fucking a bunch of them died. They buried them. And then the last guy was just died over there. I don't know.
It's not that hard, Stellan, really.
Just fucking go over there. He's dead. You can look at him.
But then he obviously, sees them cremating the corpse and is like, well, then wait, what? And goes and starts grave robbing.
Yeah. And the hyenas show up and they stare at him for a bit.
Yeah, he like kind of hears them and looks over his shoulder, and then he keeps digging, and then looks over his shoulder and he like sees their little beady eyes, and they're like there, and he kind of just ignores them. And then they go away.
And then
Which was odd.
Yeah, he shows up and he grabs the Father Francis by the throat and he's like, the graves were empty, I dug them up. There's crosses on the boxes. There's crosses marking the graves. Why the hell did they, like that? This is, who put them there? You know what's going on. And Father Francis is like, you got me.
Father Francis played by Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. God, that'd be a better movie.
Yeah, it turns out the church made up the whole plague thing about the whole last village dying because some priests unearthed the temple, and then everyone went crazy and killed each other.
Yeah. Yeah, so the battle that we saw at the beginning, or the aftermath of the battle we saw at the beginning, was like two priests got armies together to fight each other or something, and then the armies ended up turning on each other and everyone killed everyone.
Yeah, I don't remember why they had armies exactly, but it was something about going to find and secure the place on Earth where Lucifer fell.
Yeah. So like that is the single coolest idea in this entire film. And it is not capitalized on at all.
Nope.
What a fucking awesome idea is that? That like they built a temple on the exact spot where Lucifer fell to earth after he was cast out of heaven. What a fucking awesome idea. And then the church built a church over top of it to try and seal the evil below it or whatever. But like,
yeah,
what a fucking cool concept. And it's just sort of like, it's one line of dialogue.
Yeah. And instead, we just get a bunch of hyenas.
Yeah. Crows.
And crows.
Dead butterflies flapping their wings.
Yep.
But like, I don't know why, because like that line also was like in the trailer. And like that kind of like was like what got me intrigued about watching the movies. I'm like, oh, we're gonna see like the fucking church, like, because they spend like no time in the church in this movie,
Yeah.
and the trailer is all about the fucking church.
Of course.
And I'm sitting there going like, get back in the fucking church, like that's where all the interesting shit is.
Yep.
I don't know why, but like that whole idea intrigues me so much to the point where I'm actually mad. Like I'm kind of fucking angry at their lack of follow through
Oh no.
on this idea of like,
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I like, I don't know why this kind of stuff intrigues me. Maybe it's because like, you look at the Bible, whether you believe it's real or not, it's like so far back into ancient history, a lot of it,
Mm-hmm.
that there's like no record. They're like, this is the only record of it we have. Is this book. Right? There's no physical evidence of so much of this stuff that they're talking about, other than like maybe the fucking pyramids.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
are
there's
you
no
talking about like Old Testament shit or like?
Old Testament and yeah, I guess mostly Old Testament
Because
stuff.
there are like some like records and stuff from the Roman Empire times
yeah,
that
yeah.
are like, oh, someone named Jesus, who is from Galilee, was born and existed around this time.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But anyway.
But yeah, so like especially like Old Testament stuff, like, you know, they've never found the Ark of the Covenant, right?
That we know of.
That we know, unless Indiana Jones is real.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, but like that kind of stuff, right? Like, so like the idea of like the temple being built on the spot where like Lucifer fell from heaven is like, I don't know.
It just got you jazzed.
It got me jazzed. I'm like, oh fuck, that's like yeah. You could do a lot of interesting things with that. Who were these people that built this temple? Why did they build it here?
Yeah.
Lucifer fell from heaven. Did he land on Earth? Because I thought he was cast down into hell.
Yeah.
What was he doing? Did he walk around on Earth for a little bit?
Earth
You know,
is hell.
maybe. It was for the 2 hours or whatever we were watching this movie. 113 minutes.
Never gonna get it back.
No.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's just that one line, basically.
Yeah.
And then all we know about it is that it makes people go crazy and kill each other. It made
Mhm.
those crusaders go crazy and kill each other, and then made the village people that were there go crazy and kill each other. That the church tried to cover it up.
Yeah.
And then this like British army comes, and they're all like, savages.
Yeah.
And the people who actually live there are like, well, these white people are cursing our land.
Yeah.
We have had enough. We're gonna kill them.
Yeah. Well, the thing that kind of tips it over the edge is there was a guy that was, I guess, like the
Oh yeah, he was like head of the dig site.
Head
We
of the
haven't even
dig
talked
site,
about him
yeah.
yet. He's just a gross. He's a gross, creepy perv
gross creepy perv,
with boils on
Yeah,
his face.
and-
Not that that's his fault, but you know.
and at the same time that Father Marin's down in the temple and the lady's giving birth to the stillborn, he's at the bar having a drink and his face starts to like fill up with boils and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And then
pus oozing out of his
something happens, we
face.
don't see it, but then later they open up the church and they've dug out a whole bunch of it at this point. They dug fast.
Yeah, like real fast.
Kind of unclear what the timeline is like on this.
Sounds like
movie.
so there was some overtime involved. I hope that it was approved.
Yeah,
Personally,
I doubt it.
probably not.
So they open up the church and he's there on the altar and he's been strung up and his guts are hanging out. And the colonel guy is like, that's it. These savages are going to pay. And he goes out and he shoots. I don't know if it's the chief.
It was, yeah.
It was the chief? Okay.
Yeah, Father Marin's like chasing after him, trying to stop him, and he just strolls right up to him.
Yep.
Doesn't even hesitate, just gun down.
Just shoots him in the face. Yeah.
And then doesn't get killed immediately? That was unclear to me.
Yeah, he doesn't. And then they decide, like, all right, well, we're going to kill all the white people. So they get ready for battle.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Brits are like, all right, well, we're going to dig a trench because that's what we do. And so they dig
Trench and sandbags.
Yeah, and they get ready for battle. And then the dude's in his office pinning a butterfly to a canvas or whatever because apparently that's his hobby.
Yes. Yeah,
Like
we
the
did. The first time we see him, he's suffocating a butterfly in a jar.
Yeah. And then he starts to whack out and hallucinate the butterflies that are all dead, pinned to the, canvases, start flapping their wings. And he's like, "Oh, bad things are happening. I'm gonna kill myself."
Immediately.
Immediately reaches into his pouch, pulls out his gun, and like sticks it to his head. And he's like, "Huh, yeah, no, this is weird. I should definitely shoot myself in the head." And then a butterfly comes out of his mouth, and he's like, "Oh, I'll put the gun in my mouth and kill myself." And then he does.
Yeah,
And that's his whole
immediately.
character.
That's his character arc.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's because he's under the influence of evil and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, when we first see him, there's one point like when he first gets there, and like the priest and Mr. Marin are like talking to him as he's walking, and he just kind of like stops and stares at a slightly open door, and there's just darkness beyond. And we like get a shot from inside looking at him, looking all wigged out, and he's just staring at the darkness. And they're like, "Hey, you okay?" And he's like, "I'm fine," and then keeps moving. That was never explained, but I guess he's
Yep.
just already going crazy because of
Evil.
evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Father Marin and Father Francis,
Yes.
decide, all right, we got to perform an exorcism on the boy.
Yep.
And they're like, we're going to do it in the church because the locals won't go in there. They refuse to go in there. So that's what we're going to do. So
And they're trying to like save the boy from the locals because the locals want to kill him. 'Cause he's
Yeah.
possessed.
Yeah, so they're like, all right, so like Father Marin gives him the book of Roman rituals, and he's like, go start the ritual. You start doing the exorcism. I'm gonna find Sarah, and I'll meet you. I'll meet you at the church.
Mm-hmm.
Busts into Sarah's room, and it's like, oh dang,
A lot of blood.
a lot of blood everywhere.
A lot of feathers.
Yeah,
Maybe it was the
from
pillows.
the pillow.
Yeah.
The Pazuzu idol is like pinned to the wall
Yeah.
in the middle of like what looks like angel wings drawn in blood.
Yeah.
On the wall, and then you see the a photo of her wedding day, and her husband is the crazy archaeologist who
Cut his throat.
cut his own throat. And it's like, oh, the boy's not possessed, she's possessed. And yeah,
Which, like, the boy was doing some pretty possessy stuff, like shaking violently, and also at one point shows up and like tells Mr. Boyleface, "He's coming for you."
yeah, that's never explained why.
Not so much.
So yeah, basically Father Marin decides he figures it out. He goes to the temple, and starts performing the exorcism on her. She's already killed Father Francis.
Oh yeah.
And so he goes and he saves the boy, who's now fine.
He's scared.
He's scared, but he's like not in a coma and not acting all possessed
Yeah.
anymore. And like gets the boy to help him read the rites.
Yeah.
He's like, you gotta help me.
And she's gone like full demon.
Yeah.
Like, crazy jaundiced eyes, and skin's pretty blue.
Yeah,
Her
and
hair's
she's like
different.
humping him.
And she's all like, "Yeah, you want this body, don't you? You want this, don't you?"
Yeah, basically.
Um,
And so
I live here.
It's funny to only us. Oh, what a terrible podcast. So yeah, so they perform the rites, and she's like literally flying down a tunnel towards them,
Yeah.
which is great because she's super obviously on a blue screen.
Yeah.
And there's
just
like 3
pretending
different
to run.
shots. There's like a shot, like a single on her. She's coming towards the camera. A shot of her going away from the camera, and there's a profile of her like flying down the wall. And they're all shot on a blue screen, and they're all awful.
So
But I
terrible.
kind of thought they were awesome. because they looked like they were from like the 80s or something.
Yes, they did.
Like the masking around her hair like wasn't perfect,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like, and there was like very clearly like, so she's backlit.
Yeah.
And like it's obviously backlit because you can like see it like flying through her hair and stuff as she's like flying down a dark tunnel with no light behind her. And it's like, yeah, it looked like something from the 80s or something. It looked awesome. And anyways, he finishes the right as she reaches him, and she like fucking like hits an invisible wall and like flops down, and the demon's gone, and she's like, "Oh, thank you, you saved me." And then her brain falls out or something.
Yeah, all of a sudden she's like, uh-oh. And then there's just so much blood
Yeah.
on the ground. And he's like, wait, what? And then kind of like lifts up her head and her hair's all bloody. So I guess she hit her head.
Yeah, well, when she was like on top of him at one point and she was all demony, he like touches her with the cloth, and she like went like flying back like 50 feet across the temple, like into the wall and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, maybe she hit her head. It's not explained.
Yeah.
But she's dead, and then him and the boy
She's dead.
come out of the church, and everyone else is also dead.
Yep.
And the church is just getting buried by sand.
Yeah, a sandstorm came in.
Yeah.
Because, their original plan was like, we got to get this boy and to get out of here. And then immediately a sandstorm rolled in.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, can't.
Yeah. So he meets up, Father Marin meets up with his guy that hired him, and he's like, I didn't find the thing you wanted me to find at the church. And the guy's like, you did find something, though, didn't you? What did you find? And he's like, it's not important. And I thought he was going to say something like, I found God, or I found my purpose, or something like that.
But that was implied.
That was implied, because then he's like, goodbye, Mr. Whatever. And he's like, goodbye, Mr. Marin. He's like, it's Father Marin. He like moves his scarf back, and you can see he's got the collar on. And then he walks against a green screen. It's real
Just
obvious. In a plaza, and I think the Vatican City, maybe Italy.
I guess. And they just couldn't get there.
I guess not. And then he like walks, but then also like turns and walks away from camera in the same shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking weird, man.
It's such a bad shot to end the movie on.
Weird.
But hey, there were no hyenas in it, so it was a win for me.
Yeah.
No terrible CG hyenas.
And that's The Exorcist, the beginning. So.
And we never learn what happened to the boy, in case you're wondering.
Yeah. But as weird as this movie is, what's even weirder is why it exists.
Please do enlighten the viewers.
This is where we're gonna get into part 2 in the next episode. This is not the first time they tried to make an Exorcist prequel. So what happened was there's a guy named Paul Schrader was hired to write and direct an Exorcist movie. And he wrote the script with Bill Wisher, who is probably known for writing Terminator 2. Probably his most famous thing that he wrote. William Wisher. So anyways, they wrote this movie. It's a Father Marin's backstory. And a lot of those elements appear to be there, right? He was a priest, and the Nazis came and massacred his village, and he gave up and became an archaeologist, and he's excavating a temple or a church in northern Africa that shouldn't exist.
Demon stuff happens.
Yeah. And then demon stuff happens, and he has to, I guess, perform an exorcism.
Chances are.
And the production company saw the movie and were like, oh, we can't put this out. This is bad. We got to redo it. Let's get the guy that directed Die Hard 2 to come in.
Beautiful.
And redo it. And so they like recast, rewrote.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the only cast I'm pretty sure is like was Father Marin. Stellan Skarsgård stayed the same, and the guy who plays his translator are the only two actors that are in both versions. I'm 99% sure. Maybe like some of the extras and stuff and background characters.
Yeah, maybe.
But on IMDb, those are the only two that I could find. Everyone else has been recast. And they're like, we got to make a more commercial horror movie. And they shot this, and they put it out, and it bombed.
Hard to imagine.
Made about $75 million on a $50 million budget. But given that this is the second time they shot this movie, let's assume that's $100 million.
Yeah.
And then let's assume that they spent about 50% of their budget to market it. I mean, now they say you basically double your budget and that's your marketing.
Right.
But when I went to film school, we were taught 50%. You spend $10 million on the film, you spend $5 million on prints and advertising.
Right.
So let's assume they spent $75 million just to film and market this version. They're still out $50 million.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So they're like, fuck. No one liked this. So let's, we got this other version. Let's tell them that this one's better.
Already spent money on it.
Yeah, we already spent it. It's finished. It's ready to go. So they're like, hey, you know that Exorcist prequel we made? We made it again.
Maybe you'll like this one.
Maybe you'll like this one. And they put it out and people were like, well, we like it better, but it's still not like great. And it did, I don't know what the box office on it was, but
But that is what
basically we got
will watch next, right?
Yeah, we got that's Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist, which maybe that part of the title was part of the problem. I would call it Exorcism in Africa. Jungle style, baby.
Jungle style. That's the tagline. Nope.
No.
Don't do that. No.
You put Eddie Murphy in it. He has to.
Yes.
He's the new Exorcist.
The new Father Marin
Yes,
is Eddie Murphy.
It's Eddie Murphy.
And his translator is
And
Dave
he
Chappelle.
plays like seven. No, he plays his own translator, and he plays the boy, and he plays the chieftain. Just all in different. It's like it's the Nutty Professor.
Yep.
But it's Eddie Murphy. No. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna watch next. We're gonna do a compare and contrast with that one. So
very excited.
Yeah, very excited. We're waiting it with hot and heavy anticipation.
So hot.
When we get to watch Stellan Skarsgård do the same movie again.
That's gonna be so interesting.
It's gonna be weird. You know what? He's not even terrible in this movie.
No, he's not.
He's
honestly not.
Yeah. He's a good actor.
Yeah. Just like a great presence.
Yeah. He did the best he could with what he had.
Yeah. It did not appear that he was just phoning it in.
No.
Which is great.
Which is funny because this is the second time he had to do this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I want to know how that went, where they're like, hey, Stalin.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to need to do it again. It's like, what are you talking about? Do what again? I'm like, the whole movie. We're going to do it again. We got the Die Hard 2 guy. He's going to come in and do it. So if you could just go back to Africa, that would be great.
I hope that there's an interview with him.
I gotta try and find something.
Yeah.
I'll do some deep explorations on YouTube and probably nowhere else.
Sounds good.
To try and find some interview with him where he talks about doing this twice, because like I would expect him to like phone it in a little more than he did in this version, you know?
Yeah.
Given that he already shot the entire movie, and then they're like, it was crap, do it again. And he's like, fine. You gonna pay me again? They're like, yeah, we'll pay you again. And he's like, all right. I hope they paid him again.
Jeez, yeah.
Hope there wasn't some sort of like contractual loophole where they're like, if we have to reshoot the entire movie, you gotta do it for free.
That would suck.
But it's Hollywood, so I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's that.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else we need to talk about, or?
No, I think it's just look forward to the next one where we keep talking about the same stuff again, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I have a little plug to do, actually.
Ooh.
If you're in Abbotsford, BC on October 28th. I'm hosting a screening of Night of the Living Dead in a church banquet room, which is fun.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be good. It's this little like DIY. It's mostly a music venue that popped up, run by our friend Joel. And yeah, they've been doing concerts there, and it's been pretty well received. And I said, hey man, I've been thinking about starting like a not-for-profit film society for a long time. Would you be willing to host a film screening? And he was like, yeah, that sounds great. So we're doing Night of the Living Dead, and then hopefully it goes well and we can do a bunch more.
Great. That's Friday, October 28th.
Friday, October 28th,
Night
at
of the
7:30.
7:30. Nice.
$5 at the door. There's gonna be concessions and stuff, including a custom mocktail. Yeah, and we'll be hopefully announcing most of the upcoming season. So
Great.
yeah, I'm excited. It's something I've been working on for a while now. And it's we're like registered with the government as like
Government's involved?
as like an actual nonprofit. Like,
Oh, that's cool.
it's kind of crazy. I have to like file taxes for it at the end of the year and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
whack.
super whack. But yeah, so I've got 6 additional screenings planned. I don't know if they're all going to be in the same venue or not, but yeah,
Sweet.
that's what we're doing. So
Awesome.
if you're in and around the area on that day, come on by, check it out. It's going to be fun. It's the original Night of the Living Dead, the 1968 one, not the 1990 remake one.
I've seen neither.
So, well, cool. That's kind of the hope. I wanted to pick a movie that would be like familiar in name, but maybe not a lot of people had seen.
Yeah.
And because it's like Halloween, I was like, oh, it's like we should do something like spooky, and this just kind of seemed perfect, and it's in the public domain.
I
So
was about to say, and you couldn't get the rights to Casper. So.
I couldn't get the Disney was like, hell no. So yeah, that's what's up with that. Other than that, I don't have like the website or socials set up just yet, so I will stick them in the description of the episode.
Stick them
If
where
you
you
s-
want
if
them.
you scroll down on your phone, hopefully there'll be a link to that kind of stuff there. You can check that out as well.
Do it or you're scared.
Yeah, so that's it for us. Oh no, fuck, we gotta rate it. We haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
What
do
do
we want to rate it right now, or do we want to rate both of them at the same time?
Ooh,
Since it's a two-parter,
It's
you
this
gotta
is a-
wait to
This
hear
is
our
a
rating
two-parter.
because we weren't clear about our feelings on this movie.
It's a two-parter. Yeah, we could.
Let's just do it. It's fun. It's different.
All right.
We're shaking things up.
All right, cool. We'll wait. I do know that this only has 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
yep. Not the lowest we've seen, but
no,
the second lowest, I think, or
that's
third.
close. We had an 8% once.
It was 8 or 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was. I think it was
Captain America.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Wow, that movie slapped.
Yeah. What would you rather rewatch, this or Captain America?
Captain America.
Yeah, me too. Cool. Well, if you want to engage with the show anyway, you can find all of our links at linktr.ee/retrocrappod. There you have all of our socials. We have a Patreon that we will be doing stuff for again going forward now that we're back in the swing of doing the podcast again regularly.
Back in the studio.
Back in the studio.
Back on track.
Yeah, you can if you did enjoy the show, please leave a comment and rate a 5-star review on iTunes. You can do it right in your app. You don't even have to go to a different place. You just do it while you're listening to it. You're like, ha ha ha, this is funny. I click 5 stars. I leave review. It's nice. It helps the show out a lot. If you're at the bar with your friend and leave their phone on the table, take their phone, download the show on their podcast app.
It's a good prank.
Yeah, it's a good prank. They're going to have to listen to our stupid voice while they're driving one day and they can't reach their phone to change it. It's going to be so funny. I'm like, ah, shit, what is this crap that's playing? Oh, God.
And then they're gonna get to this part of the episode, and they'll be like, oh, Brian.
Yeah, fuck you, Brian. I know it was you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't get in a car crash trying to change it.
Ooh, I hope not. Hey, stop.
Stop. Pull over.
We're gonna. The episode will end soon. You don't have to stop. You can watch.
Yeah.
2 hands on the wheel.
It'll end. It'll be over shortly. You can get back to listening to This American Life or whatever you were listening to.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a very serious podcast by very serious people for very serious things.
Oh, it sounds like kind of serious.
It's not Noam Chomsky, but it's a guy who's got a boring name like Noam Chomsky.
Oh, okay. Sturge Granson.
No. Oh, they talk about him on that episode of Community where Ira Glass,
I mean, that name comes up.
where she's like, "Oh, we could listen to one of the NPR podcasts. They have so and so interviewing so and so. Don't worry, they address it."
Oh, that's right.
And there's like 2 people whose names sound the same. I can't remember. This is not a good bit. Don't crash your car. It's almost over.
I was like, what are we talking about again?
Of
Of course, we say it's almost over, and then we go off on a tangent and forget what we were talking about.
wouldn't be our podcast if we didn't. So
Next time, just throw your phone out the window, idiot.
obviously. Listen to the radio or something. Anyways, that's both hands on the wheel, eyes on the road. Keep watching crap.